Okay, so I have this channel, CreditFast, talking all about credit cards. But how many credit cards do I actually have? Well, that's what I'll be talking about today. All my credit cards. So this is going to be a two-parter because I have more than just a few. So these are all my credit cards. Up until doing this video, nobody knew how many credit cards I had, including myself. I actually thought I had 13 credit cards. Somewhere along the way, I lost count because my actual number of credit cards are 15. And because of that, I'm going to break up this video into two parts. So this will be part one, and I'm going to be talking about the first 6 credit cards that I got. I always approached it in this way. I only got cards that I actually needed or wanted for a specific reason. Of my credit lines, 14 out of the 15 have no annual fee, and they have some sort of rewards or benefits attached to them. So I have a clear reason on why I got these cards. I think that if I didn't have this channel, the number that would probably be a natural number for me to have would be about 8 cards. But because I have to talk about different credit card companies, I did get more than I probably would have if I didn't have this channel. But still, these cards for the most part I use. My advice to people on how many credit cards they need, because that is a topic you find on the internet that people search for. At the very least, have 1 credit card so you can build some credit, because along the way you don't know what you have in store for your future, and you might need to have some kind of established credit. But I think probably a normal amount for most Americans would be 3 to 5. And then, you know, some other people, they really like having different types of credit cards. And, you know, I guess I fall into that because each card has different perks and benefits, and I know how to utilize them to get a lot of benefits from these credit cards. And I'm going to be talking about my first 6 credit cards that I got after I went through my foreclosure and I had to rebuild my credit again. So I have talked from time to time that I did go through a foreclosure, and a lot of people probably think, since I've been involved in the credit industry since 2002, that I've always been very into credit cards. But after my foreclosure, I didn't have a credit card for about 5 years. I was frankly sick of it, and I wasn't going to get a house, so I didn't see a point in having a credit card. And I even had a friend who said, like, why aren't you rebuilding your credit? You're still, even in a small way, you're still involved with credit cards. Why aren't you doing what you talk about? And that, frankly, I didn't want a credit card at that time. And it was about 5 years where I didn't have a credit card at all. And I didn't even want to go through the process of getting some kind of hefty fee secured card to rebuild my credit, because at that point I just really didn't care. I had it. 5 years I didn't have a credit card, and you can live quite easily without them. But like I said, you never know what you have planned in your future, so you should make it a point to have at least 1 credit card to build credit. So one day when I walked to my mailbox, I saw a invitation offer from Capital One for the Capital One Platinum MasterCard, which is a credit card for fair credit. I couldn't believe it, because at this point I figured I'd have to start with a secured card first. But I figured, why not? fill it out, see what happens. And sure enough, I got approved for it. I actually got a Capital One Platinum MasterCard for fair credit, no annual fee and no security deposit. So this was my first credit card after my foreclosure. Now, having this card 2 or 3 months in, I had a customer service issue and I had to call customer service. And this is something I talk a lot about in my channel. I tell people that if you get the Capital One Platinum MasterCard, you can upgrade it. So at the end of that call, the customer service representative asked me if I wanted to upgrade my card to the Capital One Quicksilver card, the one with no annual fee. So obviously I said yes to that, and I got this in the mail. And this is one of the cards I use the most. I like it because it's just pretty much straightforward and simple. Sometimes with cashback credit cards, you have to earn a certain amount before you can redeem your cashback rewards. With this one, I can take any amount out. So if I wanted to redeem $5, I can do that. Or what I can do is if I had an odd amount like $83, I can use that whole amount. I don't have to take cash rewards in increments of $20. So this one has always been very easy and straightforward for me, and I still use this one a lot today. Okay, so 6 months later, I got another letter in my mailbox, an invitation offer, and it was for the First National Bank of Omaha, which probably a lot of you don't have. But I had this one as my second card. But the thing about this card, much like the Platinum MasterCard from Capital One, it doesn't have any rewards, or at least it didn't start with rewards. One time I did call my customer service rep about something, and I probably said something like, well, I really like this credit card, too bad it doesn't have rewards. So the customer service representative said, well, with this card, you actually have an option to earn rewards. So there is a reward system with this card. You can earn rewards with this card. You earn 1 point for every dollar, and then you can redeem it for different merchandise in a catalog. So I thought that was really nice to have some kind of reward program associated with it. It made me use this card a little bit more than I would otherwise. So if you, like me, started out with this card and you thought it wasn't a reward card, call customer service. There is probably something they can do about that. So I would say 1 week after receiving the letter from the First National Bank of Omaha, I got another letter from Capital One for the Capital One Buy Power card, which is the GM card. So with this, you can earn 5% rebate towards a new car. I've had this for a while now. I really like it, but it's kind of weird. It is actually the credit card I have with the lowest credit limit. I know I don't really talk about my credit limits on this channel, but I started out with a $300 credit limit with this card, and then after 6 months they gave me a $500 credit limit. And that's where it stands today. I asked once or twice before, for a credit line increase. They didn't give it to me, so I just said, well, you know what? I'll just let it go. If they give me one day, that's fine. But as it stands, this just has a $500 credit limit. And the interesting thing about this one is that every once in a while they offer special promotions. One of the interesting promotions they had with this card was they would give you a $100 rebate if you spent $125 dining out during the holiday season. So that was very easy for me to get done. So I spent about $125 on a couple of dinners, and I got a $100 rebate. So that's what a lot of these cards do. Outside the normal structure of earning rewards, there'll be some kind of special that they're offering where you can earn even more than the regular reward rates. So $100 for spending $125 that I was going to spend anyways, a good deal. But outside of that, you earn 5%, and they do cap it. This is a good card to have. I recommend it if your next car will be a GM. So now I have had what's now the Quicksilver card from Capital One for 1 year, the Bank of Omaha Visa for 6 months, and the Capital One Buy Power card for 6 months. So now I know I have built up my credit to a decent credit score. So it is December now, and I decide that I want to open 2 new lines of credit. And they are the Best Buy Visa card and the Target Red card. And I did that all in one night. And that's one tip that I can offer to you. And at least I found some success with it. If you've waited a while and you've built up your credit and you haven't applied for anything, so you know your chances are going to be good to get a credit card that isn't too difficult to get approved for, which the Best Buy Visa card and the Target Red card, they're fairly easy to get approved for. What you do is, if you are certain you want these cards, apply for them both in the same night, and that's what I did. I first applied for the Best Buy Visa card, and honestly, if you want to know the truth, this could possibly be my favorite credit card that I have, just because I just like stuff. I just like tech stuff. I like computers, I like gadgets, I like cameras, I like all of it. But the problem always was I couldn't afford those things. And that's where the Best Buy Visa card came in for me, because it allowed me to buy things and then pace my payments out. And as long as I made the payments on time, I paid no interest. So that was the way that I've been able to afford to buy a lot of the gear that I use to film my videos. So the Best Buy Visa card is pretty much one of the most important credit cards that I have. But you have to really understand, if you have this card, that you need to pay the full amount off by the time the promotion is over. Because if you don't, all the interest that you didn't pay will be tacked onto your next bill, and that could be a lot of money depending on how expensive the item was. So generally I will buy something and then pace out my payments. And the latest thing that I bought was an Apple Watch, and there's no way I could have bought an Apple Watch if I didn't have a Best Buy Visa card. And the promotion they had it was a special Apple event recently, and it was 2 years 0 interest financing. So with 2 years of 0 interest financing, I decided I wanted to get this watch. And how I make it make sense for me is that I plan to pay $50 a month every month until the watch is paid. And that's more than enough to get this watch paid off before 2 years. So that's how I have set it up for myself. So this is the watch. This is not the band that it came with, but one that I bought off of Amazon.com. I actually bought 11 different bands. They all ranged between $5 and $20 for the leather type bands. But this was so much fun because the different bands make it a completely different watch. This was the latest band that I bought, but I have another one here. But I've linked the 2 bands I've shown you today in the description below. So if you want to check those out, they're there. So I went into Target and I applied and got approved for the Target Red card. This is the Target Red card store card. It was the only store credit card that I had out of all the credit cards I had for the longest time. About 1.5 years ago, I got a letter in the mail asking me if I wanted to convert this card to this card, and I accepted that offer. Now I did a video on it and I talked about how it was strictly an invitation only offer that you got through the mail. It was not something you could call Target about and ask for. So recently I talked to a Target Red Card associate on the phone, and they told me that right now they have not been offering the Target Red Card MasterCard. But don't worry, they'll probably do it again where they'll offer the MasterCard. But right now they're not. And you're not losing out too much because there are no rewards to this MasterCard. The only benefit is that you can use this card outside of Target. So the Target Red Card is actually one of my favorite credit cards because we all need to buy stuff, everyday things, and with Target you get a straight 5% off all your purchases, even if the items are on clearance for 75% off. Trust me, I know. 75% off, you'll also get an extra 5% off. So this makes it a great card. I know a lot of you guys like the Walmart store card, and if you're a regular shopper there, it's probably going to be making a lot of sense to you. But for me, I don't have it. It's not one of my 15. I prefer the Target Red Card just because it's an easy, straightforward 5% off on all your purchases. All right, so the last credit card I will be talking about, the 6th credit card I got, was the Amazon Visa card. And I didn't plan on getting this one. I had already just applied and got approved for the Best Buy Visa and the Target Red Card. I wasn't planning on getting anything. I was going to put a pause, but I needed to buy something on Amazon, and it was kind of expensive. And when you apply and get approved, they give you a major discount. So I went ahead and I applied for it. Now, there is a thing that people know about with Chase. It's called the Chase 524 rule, where you cannot apply for 5 credit cards within 24 months. If you try to apply for certain Chase cards, you will not get approved. 5 credit cards within 24 months. So this is the interesting thing about the Chase 524 rule, is that I've read a lot about it on the internet, and now it's starting to get hazy because some sites will say, okay, this credit card is not impacted, but this Chase credit card is. I've been hearing things about the Chase Amazon Visa card, that it is impacted by Chase 524 rule, but I'm holding it now. This was credit card number 6. So for me, the Chase 524 rule did not apply when I applied. One thing I wanted to mention about Amazon.com, and you don't need an Amazon Visa card to do this, you just need a credit card. Sometimes they offer a special $10 credit if you buy a $100 gift card. So instead of getting $100, you get $110. I recently took advantage of this. They offer this every now and then. So I did it this time, and it was very easy. So it's like getting 10% rewards on buying $100. So you're getting $110 for spending $100. I just wanted to let you know that, and you can use any credit card to get this. You don't need to use your Amazon Visa for it. So those were the first 6 credit cards that helped me rebuild my credit. And they're some of my favorite credit cards that I still use today. So what credit cards do you have in your wallet right now that are your favorites? Tell us in the comment section below and tell us why we should get these cards. Thank you so much. Until next time.